We are basically home.
Big Haul is almost officially at a complete end. We always hate this part of
Yeah.
Big Haul, just because it is the most depressing. Because once you leave the Southwest and you start that long drive back to Florida, it really is just kind of like, it's sad. You don't want to be going home, and then you're dealing with traffic, and then you get out of that beautiful area, that majestic area of the desert.
It just seems like we always leave at the time where we have finally hit our stride with, making videos, recording things. We're relaxed, we're happy, there's no sound outside, and then all of a sudden,
You're thrust right back into madness.
It's not a good transition, I'm gonna be honest. It's not a good transition.
We went from Santa Fe. We drove to Oklahoma City for just a stopover, and we chose.
I love Oklahoma City, so this is not.
This is not a
No.
stab at anything Oklahoma,
No.
but we chose a quick RV park right on the corner of the exit, right on the interstate, and it was like you went from silence to complete madness. It was so loud there because we were so used to the quietness out there where we were camping.
It was interstate sounds the whole
Yeah.
time. I had my rain sounds going. It didn't help.
Yeah, we looked at it in a positive way. It's like, okay, this is just a stop. This is convenient. It's off the interstate, right back on the interstate, and just keep on trucking.
And it was that.
Yeah.
It was that. I single-handedly derailed Santa Fe. I picked up a beautiful treasure in Bluff. I also picked up this wonderful sickness that I have. So he had to take me to the clinic. So here we are, we're in Santa Fe. It's one of my favorite places on earth. It is the art mecca, jewelry capital for Southwest jewelry anywhere. And it's my honey hole.
Yep.
And I could barely get out of bed.
And she is sick.
I could barely get out of
Yeah.
bed.
She is so sick. She had to sleep, which I encouraged her. I was like, get as much rest as you need. If we have to stay longer, we will, just so she can rest. But
We pulled in. I didn't even do my setup. I got in. I put the slide out when he was ready, and then I went and got in bed.
yeah,
And it kicked my butt.
yeah. But we got into Santa Fe that afternoon. It started raining, and the entire 3 days that we were there, it stormed and rained the entire time.
I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either. I mean, it was like being back in Florida, where
Yeah.
you have rain all the time, and sometimes it lasts for a day, two whole days. You don't expect to go to Santa Fe and see that kind of rain, that much rain,
And snow.
never stop. And it snowed in some places, and on top of that, it hailed on us
Yeah.
twice that we know of.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was crazy.
First hailstorm, wasn't too bad. It was little small balls, and then the next hailstorm that hit us, it was a little bit bigger, almost marble size.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, it didn't last very long. It was like maybe a minute, and then that kind of subsided, and it just went back in the rain.
I could just hear him going, "No solar panels,
Yeah. That's
no!
all I was
Please be
thinking
careful,
about.
solar panels."
The solar panels, and there's nothing you can do.
No.
Everybody has to deal with that. Everybody has solar panels on their RV, and
I
everybody
love
has
Santa
to deal with
Fe.
that. But
Love it.
we did go into town, into Santa Fe in the plaza, And while we were there, well, we went for a couple of reasons. I picked up a very special item, which we're going to show you here in a bit. We'll talk about that later. And then also, while we were there, we wanted to go ahead and take Abby to a clinic so she could get.
That was the nicest clinic we've ever been to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was just down from the plaza. I can't remember which one it's called, but it was a little urgent care clinic. We took her there and got to see a doctor, and they gave her some medicine and told her what she needed to do, and everything's going to be cool. She's just sick, so she's just got to get over being sick.
Yep, that's right.
We made the best of it, even though we really didn't get to do much in Santa Fe.
We had this whole video thing planned. It was Foodie's Paradise. I had it all planned out. Nothing. Yeah. So, I apologize.
But,
I hate it.
We do want to go back to New Mexico on another big haul. I
want to go back to New Mexico right now.
Yeah, I do too. We'd love to. I mean, we
right
were
now.
both saying that, we could stay out in Santa Fe for another month because there's so much to see out in that area.
Yeah.
You could use that as a home base, go out and explore. So we want to try to plan another big haul where we do more of New Mexico's because we enjoyed New Mexico so much this trip. And I'd say the northeast quadrant of New Mexico, we really haven't spent a lot of time in.
No.
We've been through there, but there's a lot of places we haven't been up there, especially in the mountain region. So we want to go back there on a future trip and spend more time and go to more state parks, do some more boondocking, find some of the U.S. forestry campsites up in the mountains.
Los Alamos is not too far. I really want to go there.
We want to go back
lots of cool things.
We want to go back to Bandelier.
Yes.
And also Tent Rocks. Tent Rocks is finally reopened. It's been like 5 years they had that place closed.
That's my favorite hike of all time ever. And we didn't even get to finish it because I was gimpy. Am I always got something going? God.
There's always something going on between you and I.
God.
But yeah, we're going to go back on a future trip and try to plan out a lot of new places that we haven't seen out there and spend more time there.
Yes.
But we have had a great big haul this year, 2025, and we just wanted to kind of recap our trip, and then maybe take a minute and tell them where we're at right now because we haven't even done that yet.
Yeah, please do it because I cannot remember the name of this.
So we are currently in Paul B. Johnson State Park, which is near Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We are less than 3 hours from home. GPS says about 2.5 hours without traffic. And so tomorrow morning, we're going to finish packing up the Kodiak right there, and we are going to head home. This is our first time at this state park, very first time coming in here, and it feels like we have the entire place to ourselves.
It does.
There's a whole row of pulled-through campsites all right through here. This is a pavilion that everybody can use. And there was 3 other campers here. They all left this morning.
Yep.
And here it is Friday, and we have the entire campground to ourselves.
This place, I'm just going to use one word to describe it. Green.
Oh yeah.
It is beautiful and green everywhere.
It definitely is. There's a big lake here, and one of the really cool things about coming through this state park and the campground is we get to drive over the spillway, as in you're driving through the water coming across. That was so cool that they designed the road where the spillway is. It's not real deep, it's a few inches deep maybe. And you get to see the water just flow across the road, and you drive right through it. And
the person that designed that was like, check this out.
Yeah, that was a really cool design idea that they pulled off there. But you can tell, just like many Mississippi state parks, we've been seeing the posts online. They got a lot of funding a few years ago, and they started going into their older state parks here and remodeling, revamping, modernizing them. Yeah. And that's exactly what they've done here. Now, this is all new right through here, although we have some gripes about this because they put way too many sites in right here. You might be able to see right there, these are a few back ends. See how close they are? I'm really surprised that somebody in a state park actually did that, because usually in a state park campground,
you have lots of room.
You have a lot of wide open space. You're not bunched up next to each other, but they did that right here. Abby asked if I'd be interested in coming out and let's do some sort of patio chat to recap Big Haul. So here we are. Mm-hmm. So we started off basically in New Mexico. We drove through Texas.
City of Rocks.
And got to City of Rocks. That was
awesome.
Our first destination, and we absolutely loved it, minus the wind.
Okay, let's address the wind right now. So part of the reason that we do this is because of barbecue. Adam is amazing at barbecue, and we really love to sit out and take our time, do the barbecue, let it howl.
Or just camp cooking as well, you know.
And every single time we plan a trip, we somehow believe that we're going to be able to do all those things at every stop that we make. And we are proving time and time again that the wind just isn't our friend in the Southwest during this time of the year. And I can't speak for the other times because we haven't really done those other times, but we didn't get to do what we wanted.
Yeah.
Flat out.
As far as cooking goes.
For cooking.
We didn't
for
get
cooking
to.
only. Yeah.
Seldom do we get to really have a really nice weather day where there's no wind and go out and cook because of the wind, you know?
And it is a big factor, and it affects his barbecue quite a lot. And I mean, it's just.
Well, for example, like that we want to do some Dutch oven meals. You know, I love Dutch oven cooking with charcoal. And when it is really, really windy outside, there's no point in even trying to do that kind of cooking because the wind's just blowing your heat and blowing your charcoal everywhere.
And I mean, we're both very conscious about fire safety, especially in places that are dry or have, had threats in the past from fires or whatever. We don't want to be responsible for anything like that. So it basically every single day was 10 miles or over for wind. So
a lot of places we were getting anywhere from 10 to 30 mile an hour winds blowing through there.
And that's for 6 weeks. 6 weeks straight.
Yep.
So we loved every place we went. They're like, oh, it's so much more windy. We're like, we know. So but anyway,
and we're learning that's part of the springtime weather out there as well. I read about it, and everybody has to deal with that.
Yep.
So it's just unfortunate that
it is.
We go out there for the beauty, but it's really hard to plan out really good cooks and barbecue cooks when we're out there.
We sat out in our chair not as much as we wanted to. We kind of ended up spending more time inside our camper this time than we would have liked.
Well,
so that's my only complaint because of the weather.
We had wind, and it was pretty cold most of the trip too.
Which I love.
Which we don't complain about that. We like it when it's cooler.
Yeah.
We'd rather it be cold than hot. But there was plenty of days where it was actually really cold, and then you have the wind on top of that. And then sometimes we even had snow a few times this trip as well.
I love the snow.
So as Abby said, a lot of times we just ended up migrating inside the Kodiak and just hanging out there, which we don't mind either. But ultimately when you're traveling and camping, you want to get outside and you want to enjoy the sunshine and the fresh air and the sights and the sounds.
And it makes me feel like that you get sad. I don't like that. So
No, I don't get sad, but I definitely would get upset whenever our plans are changed because of unexpected weather that we, didn't really take into consideration.
So we did a lot of cooking inside the camper, and that worked out great. But it's not like we want to show you guys, hey, look at our, inside the camper mac and cheese. So we didn't get to show what we really normally like to.
So guess where we're cooking today?
Inside the camper. That's right, because it's storming and it's going to storm, and we can hear thunder in the background. And
we brought our crock pot with us on this trip, and we've used it a few times, including the day. And we just decided, we knew that it was going to rain today, so we decided to do a crock pot meal. We got us a chicken and some vegetables.
We had a whole chicken. It was when I was sick, and he put it in the crock pot. He made it. It was pouring down rain.
That was in Santa Fe.
It was, and it was the best meal. It was like chicken soup for my soul type of situation. It was so
Let me
good.
tell you guys, I think in the past we have shown my chicken and root veggies, but it's always been in the cast iron, in the Dutch oven.
And it's so good in the Dutch oven.
If you guys like crock pot cooking, take your whole chicken, season it. I use Fiesta chicken rub. And then what I do is I take the 12-inch Dutch oven, put it on the stove, get it hot with some oil, and I sear it on both sides for about 5 minutes. Just try to pre-cook it a little bit, get a little bit of crust on the outside of it. Turn the heat off. I have all of my vegetables cut, prepped in a bowl, oiled with a little bit more of that chicken seasoning or whatever seasoning you want. I dump it in the cast iron and I mix it all around. I scrape up all of the bits on the bottom, the fat from the chicken that fried out. Mix it all up, So you set the chicken over in the crock pot. You do your vegetables in the oil and get it all stirred up, and then you dump that in there. You turn it on, you let it cook. I've been making 2.5 cups of that chicken stock. I've got this Fiesta chicken concentrate and just put a couple teaspoons in some water. Tastes like chicken broth. And then I pour that in there to help create some liquid. Turn it on low or high if you want, and just let it cook all day. And it turns out to be some of the best food, you know? So it's potatoes, onions, carrots, garlic, and this time I used jalapenos in there as well.
We're going to use jalapenos in every single thing that we make from now on for the rest of our lives.
And we'll cook a pot of rice, and then what you do is you put you some rice in a bowl, and I'll take the chicken, I kind of cut it. It falls apart at this point, but I just kind of take it and pull it apart or chop it up, and then debone
But you
it.
do the best part.
The best part.
Yeah, you have to grab a scoop of the liquid for your rice.
Yeah, you got to get the broth.
The broth.
So the vegetables and the broth, you pour that over the top of it, and it's just homemade goodness right there.
It heals me, is what it does.
It's really good.
I'm one meal away from being healed. Today's
So-
the day. Tomorrow, I'm going to be fixed.
Hopefully all that made sense, because I want y'all to try that and tell me what you think, or tell us what you think, because that is an excellent meal.
Yes.
Even better when you cook it in the Dutch oven. My whole family absolutely loves it.
Mine too.
My mom and my sister both have said that is their absolute favorite thing that I have ever cooked for them.
It's
Is
just so good.
Chicken and root veggies in the Dutch oven.
And you're happy because it's not a difficult one
It's
to
an easy,
pull off.
It's an easy one to do. So we mentioned City of Rocks, which we absolutely loved. Got a few videos on that camp, so you guys make sure you check that out. Really, really awesome state park campground.
We're going back
camping
for
around
sure.
the rocks. No hookups there unless you book into the electric sites that they have, but we'd recommend getting one of the ones over on the rocks. We did a full walk around so we could help you guys kind of pick out what site might work for you depending on what kind of RVing that you're doing or camping. And yeah, we really enjoyed that. And we found out there's a whole lot more in that area that we need to go and visit too.
Like Rockhound, the Rockhound State Park.
Yep.
We're going there. So
Yep.
that whole area could be the inspiration for our next one. I don't know.
We're thinking New Mexico is a really strong contender for a lot of our big haul time next trip.
I really don't know. I mean, we always try to kind of figure out what we want to do for the next one because it's the only way that I don't just cry my eyes out because we're done is to know that we have another one coming.
We like planning ahead, and like Abby said, we like knowing what's down the pipeline. We get a little frustrated with family sometimes, my family, because it's like I try to encourage them to plan ahead and book something 6 months to 12 months out. Like just get something on the calendar. And nobody will ever do that. And then they get frustrated because they want to, we want to go camping and then there's nothing available.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's why we tell you, you just got to plan it ahead, put it on the calendar, and then you know you've got these trips coming up, you got this vacation coming up. And
Well,
we know that spontaneous, everybody likes to do something spontaneous, but it's really hard today to get campgrounds, state park campgrounds without booking something ahead of time.
And I don't know, we have not really necessarily talked about our process that we go through when we book things. It kind of changes and evolves all the time, but we did give advice to someone that specifically asked. And I think
it's a lot of work, though.
It is a lot of work. But what I was going to say is that there are some times where a spot that you want the most out of all your trip, I mean, there's always cool places, there's always places that are going to surprise you, they're going to end up being your favorite that you didn't realize. But if there's a place that you know you want to go, I'm going to use the Santa Fe Balloon Festival as an example.
There you go.
You cannot, at the very last minute, go, I think I'll go to the Balloon Festival.
Yeah.
It does not work that way. So if you know that you want to get, if there's a place that you want to get, book it first and plan your trip around that.
Exactly.
So
and we're talking about if you're wanting a campsite,
A campsite, of course. So, but I mean, the same goes for other things. I mean, you have to be careful with national parks now. Some of them have timed entries. Like, you need to know when things are open. If you're only planning on being in an area one day, make sure that you look that what you want to do is open. Because there's a lot of things that we have, it ended up changing our plans because I was like, well, crap, they're not open on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
so,
there's a lot of places we go, towns, that will have their weekends on like Monday, Tuesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, and you get in, you're all excited, you go downtown and everybody's closed. You're like, what the hell? Oh, We're not
But
open
that's-
Mondays and Tuesdays.
That's how you ensure a good trip. And we know it's a lot of work, and it is. It is a lot of work. But it's worth it, especially when things go the way that you want, and that's nice. Now you can't get everything right, and you're not gonna. But
yeah, and you can't see everything.
No.
Like, we get a lot of comments, and we love hearing from our viewers.
you do.
Oh, you need to go do this. Oh, you need to go here. And we agree with you. We really do, and we want to. But you just don't have enough time to see everything. So you have to plan out your trip, and don't over-plan it so that you don't have any kind of downtime either.
We have made that mistake.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do. A lot of people
Sorry.
go on vacation, and they're running and gunning the entire time and realize I don't have any time to sit down and just catch my breath and take it all in. So you try to plan out, we do that on our trip. We try to plan out like, well, we'll have a day. Like today is a really good example. You have a day. You're not going to run in the town. You're not going to go over here to this monument. You're not going to go on a hike trail. You're just going to stay at camp, cook some barbecue, and just relax. Sit in your chair, read a book, do whatever it is that you like to do in your downtime. Enjoy the scenic view. Take a walk around the park, that kind of stuff. Just
Yes.
try to enjoy some down days in between your travels there. We left City of Rocks, and nearby we went to Hatch. Loved
Hatch.
that place.
Yeah.
Great place to go. And then we went up that whole corridor. I think it was Interstate 25 that goes all the way up to Albuquerque. And we visited Hatch, Caballo. I just can't say it.
That's okay.
State Park, nice lake there. We enjoyed that. We wish that we could have had more time there, but we didn't. And then we went right up the road there to Truth or Consequences and Elephant Butte, and absolutely enjoyed that.
I loved it.
We had a great time there.
The hot springs
Yeah.
was epic, and what I would give to be able to get into that right.
She's been wanting that hot spring ever since we did it. I wish we could go back to the hot spring.
Yeah.
And I do too. I absolutely loved it, enjoyed it. And to be honest, on the way back, I was going to try to surprise her and let's stay at Hot Springs National Park. The campground, nope. Like what we said, you can't do something just the next day. There was nothing available in their campground, and the last time we went there, we went to the KOA. I do not want to go back to a KOA, and since there was nothing available in the National Park campground, I told Abby, I said, we're just gonna have to do another trip.
I was fighting for my life at that moment, probably. So I was like, "That's okay. We can just go home."
There's going to be more opportunities in the
Yes.
future, so it's not like it's a complete letdown. But
No.
we were trying to be spontaneous, and it did not work. So we decided, let's just get home. We have had 3 solid long drive days, which is really, this is what you have to do whenever we take these trips. But usually we like to break it up into 5 or 6 hour segments. This time we've been doing 8-hour drives.
Yeah.
We did 3 8-hour drives, and I am just beat. I told her I wanted to book here 2 nights so we could get in and then to have one day to just kind of hang out and rest. And that's what we're doing today. We were going to go in, Hattiesburg is just up the road. We were going to go into Hattiesburg downtown and have some lunch there, but
Lots of good choices.
we've just been, Abby's been doing some editing, and we just decided, let's just stay here. And then we're making a video for you guys anyway.
And again, it feels like we have this place to ourselves, so
Yeah.
we didn't really want to leave.
Exactly. So, back to New Mexico, we really enjoyed those areas
Yeah.
up, through New Mexico. And then we went up to Blue Water Lake State Park.
That one surprised me.
That one surprised both of us.
Yeah.
That was a really cool spot there too. And
Yeah.
that's, they got some newly developed sites in there. The second day, which is where we stayed on one of those newly developed sites, that you can boondock anywhere along the lakeside. It was cheap. I think it was $15 a night, $20 if you want electric hookups. They do have those there too. And that was a beautiful area and a really beautiful state park. We loved that.
We did save a lot of money this trip.
Yeah.
We ate in pretty much every night.
Yeah, we didn't go out as much as
we
as
cooked
we
all
have in
most
the
of our
past.
meals. Yeah,
The biggest expense that we have is, I say the biggest expense, number one, is fuel costs for the truck. Second biggest expense is
Abby's
food.
jewelry.
Well, okay, that is very true. That is true. She's got some surprises that she got this on this
I'm
trip.
sorry.
But just food in general, it's not cheap going to the store, So we would plan we would go to a Walmart along the way. We'd see where Walmart is, like Truth or Consequences. We loved that one. We stopped there. We'd get our groceries for the next few days, water jugs and that kind of stuff. And it adds up really quick.
Why did you love the Truth or Consequences Walmart?
It wasn't busy.
Because it wasn't busy.
It wasn't busy. It was
That's
nice
his
and
measuring
clean
stick for
inside.
all things.
Yeah. So the Walmart there was very pleasant to shop in. It was quiet in there. Everybody was nice. But we were talking about the expenses. So fuel, food, and then the campground fees that you have to pay wherever you're staying, whether it be a state park, RV park, But when you go to state parks, you generally pay a lot less. When you're comparing it to RV parks,
An RV resort.
RV resorts
Yeah.
are absolutely the worst when it comes to cost. They are ridiculously expensive. And when you go to a state park, you're going to pay, I'm going to say it usually starts around $10 a night, depending on which park it is, because they're all different. And I think the most expensive was $65 a night.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think that was for Escalante, was
Yeah.
65.
Worth every penny.
And that's like a newly built campground in there with all modern facilities. You got modern bathhouses.
That's one of those ones that you book first.
Yeah.
And then you plan your trip around it.
Exactly. She's got it right. So New Mexico was great. From there, we hopped up the road a little ways into Arizona. We went to Canyon de Chelly National
Oh, you
Monument.
didn't say Page.
That was after.
Was it?
Yeah, that's after.
Sure was.
We haven't made it to Page yet.
Don't listen to me. I loved Canyon de Chelly. I thought
Canyon
it
de
was
Chelly
very
was great.
cool. At first I was a little bit disappointed by the campground. It wasn't what I was
we were-
hoping it was going to be.
We were both disappointed.
I don't know
in that.
why. I just had in my mind it was going to just be this. I'm not sure. Sometimes that happens, but it ended up being a lovely place to be, and it was very quiet, and the people were super nice, and the campsite was great. So it really wasn't a bad thing. But
That was Cottonwood Campground. I think that's the only one available there, right there next to the visitor center.
and there is not a lot to do in that town as far as food and amenities and things like that. So just
plan ahead.
Plan
When you
ahead
go
and
there,
pack your
bring-
stuff there, but totally
your food.
go. I will go back and we will hire a guide to go
Yep.
into the canyon. So we would definitely want to do that. But I'm really glad we did what we did.
Yeah, as with other things that we've done, it's really great to get both perspectives. So do the drive because it's easy and it's free. Besides your fuel, drive the north and the south rim, do all the overlooks. Spend a day doing that.
Yeah.
And if you have time, take another day and book a tour so that they take you down into the canyon, and that's where you get to go really up close to the cliff dwellings, and they talk about the history and everything there.
I
too.
definitely would recommend bringing your lunch for that one because
Yeah.
once you're out there, there's nothing to get.
Yeah,
So-
it's not one of them places. Well, let's drive back into town and eat some lunch. You can certainly do that, but I
Yep.
mean, I think I saw a Church's Chicken and maybe a pizza place. I don't know.
Yeah.
So just when you go, I think that was Chelly. Just bring your food and plan ahead.
That's fun though, don't you think? When you go go to
Well, like we
national
said,
parks
it's-
or monuments to
I think
take your lunch.
that's part of the experience. You pack you a lunch, have you a picnic. They have really great spots you can hang out and eat your lunch and cook a burger if you want to.
All right, what was after that?
So after that was Page. We
love
went.
Page.
We went.
I love
we
it
went
so
to
much.
Page. On the way, we went through Cayenta. I believe that's how you say it, Cayenta, to one of Abby's favorite restaurants. She's got a lot of favorite restaurants.
I do.
Amigos. That
So
place is fabulous.
Yes, it is.
It is Native American owned and operated. Super nice guy. And the menu, the stuff that he creates is absolutely delicious. I mean, so he's got Navajo tacos, but to me, it's like the best Navajo tacos I have ever eaten.
Yeah.
It's like elevated somehow, what he does there. But very small place. When you come in, there's like a podium thing that you sign your name and then you just sit down and they like come outside and they see who's next and they call you.
I like that they do it that way because
Yeah.
then people aren't jumping in front of you, and it's just such a chill.
So that's a really great place, just south of Monument Valley. I think it's like 20 minutes south of Monument Valley. But we were going west, so after we ate at Migos, we went to Page, and we had five nights there, and we had that planned out too. We knew that when we went back to Page, we wanted to spend a lot more time there, not just to see some more things, but we wanted to have time to sit and chill like we previously talked about.
Because that view from the campground's
Yeah.
stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculously amazing.
Wall-Weep. We were at
Yeah.
the Wall-Weep campground, which is inside the Glen Canyon Rec area.
And you do have to pay when you go through the gates there. You have your National Park Pass, that works, gets you in there. But just be aware of it. If you're thinking about buying a National Park Pass, buy it there, because if not, I mean, I think you have to pay the thing and it's for a week though.
Well, yeah, whenever you buy entry, I believe they give you 7 days.
But
you
it's
know, so you-
$35 to get into the Glen Canyon Rec area.
Yeah, I don't
and
remember.
I think it's $80
We-
for the pass.
We always buy the
Yeah.
National Park Pass every trip we take because they're good for 1 year, and ours was expired. So we always just wait until
Yeah.
we need to buy it again, and then we buy it. So we just bought it there, and that'll get you in any of the national parks,
Yeah.
not state parks.
No.
National parks. And such a beautiful area. Page has so much to offer. And that's why we love going there. For one, it's just absolutely breathtaking, the
God.
beauty there. The red and the orange rocks everywhere, the colors along Lake Powell, the Colorado River, and you have the Glen Canyon Dam there. It is such a cool place.
Yes.
So you have the entire Glen Canyon recreational area. You have Lake Powell. You have the Colorado River area, so you can do rafting and camping along there. Antelope Canyon, super popular. We did that last year.
Regardless of the type of time that you want to have, you can have that specific type of time in Page.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're really adventurous, there are a ton of things. If you want to just relax, there are plenty of things. It is
Hiking
just,
trails galore.
I mean, they're everywhere. And we didn't get to do even a little bit of what we had kind of wanted to do.
Yeah.
But we enjoyed the time. I mean, that campground is so beautiful. My parents loved it. They
Yeah.
loved Page. That was the first time they had been there.
Yeah.
And you know,
I think we did good picking our campground
did.
sites there, because Wall-Weep's one of those ones you don't actually get to pick a site. You show up, you check in, and they assigned you one. But we were really nice to the lady and asked her, is there any chance we could see what's available and maybe kind of hand pick a site? And that's what we did. I think it was Loop F.
that's right.
And we were on the very end, and you know, if you've seen the videos, we had great views of the
Yeah.
lake out there. Page is a really great spot to
Yes.
go on a vacation.
Yes.
You know, and we went ahead and did the pontoon boat this time. We told each other when we went back to Page, we are going to rent a pontoon boat, get on the lake. We looked at the forecast. We picked the perfect day to go out there, and we got so lucky that the weather was perfect that day.
Yeah.
It wasn't windy. The sky was blue a lot of the times, and if you guys saw that video and how pretty that water was across those bays, it was like a mirror.
It was like a mirror.
That was some of the prettiest that I've ever seen with my own eyes out in nature like
Me too.
that. It was
I mean, I love a boat. Who doesn't love a boat? But I mean, that was a great experience.
Yeah.
It was not busy when we went. I was expecting there to be a million people on the lake, buzzing around us, you know, being bothersome.
wasn't.
No, that it was felt like we had the place to ourselves again. It was.
Yeah, it was
I don't know
great.
how we did that, but I will take it. It was so great. We do have a full video on there, and we talked about all the costs and everything. When you're in the boat, you're in the rec area, and you can pull up pretty much anywhere and camp anywhere.
That's what I was reading.
And I think
Yeah.
that is just the coolest thing. But obviously, we didn't have the time or the need to do that. But
Yeah.
I think that's very cool. And I would have liked to have gotten out and explored a little bit more.
Yeah.
But being on the, it was just
Just being out on the lake, just seeing the vista, the beauty, the reflection in the water, just being out there.
I know
the
he's
quietness and
driving.
the
I'm doing the
peacefulness.
camera, and I'm like, I turn it off, and I'm like, yes, that was a beautiful shot. The water, it's reflecting. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I think that was your most excited I've ever seen you getting video to share.
Well,
Yeah.
watch the video. You can see why. It was amazing.
It was beautiful.
I'm like, look, you know, you're hoping that you're going to get something good, and I'm holding it. I'm like, yes.
And she got
this
it.
is good.
And Abby edited that video all herself. She did it all her own, and I think it turned out great.
Thanks, babe.
I've been telling Abby, you know, when it comes, she's picking up more of the video editing for us, and I told her, I said, just bring your own style to it. You know, like it doesn't have to be how I edit videos. You just do whatever it is that you want to do, your own artistic style, and that's what she's doing.
I wonder if the viewers can tell the difference between your videos and mine.
I think if they pay attention, they could see the difference between an Abom edited versus an Abby edited.
Normally, I would say it's all a matter of exclamation points, but that's for the posts. If you want to know who posted it,
Yeah.
if it has 1,000 exclamation points, it was made by me.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have a single one of those, it was made by him.
You can usually tell by reading it who typed it too, you know.
I get really excited
So
about everything.
So sometimes if she's making a post from me, she tries to sound like me. And then if I'm trying to help her with the caption, I'm trying to sound like her.
Yeah, exclamation
So
points.
it's
That's all you have to
kinda
use.
mixed up there.
Yeah.
We left, drove a short, I think it was like an hour and a half, not even that, to the west. We went to Kanab. And the main reason we wanted to go to Kanab is because we wanted to camp at Coral Pink Sand Dune State Park. Another great state park. We absolutely
Blew my
loved
mind.
it.
That blew my mind.
And you know, her parents were with us, and originally the plan was that they were going to go into Zion National Park. Now, Abby and I have already been to Zion. That was our first national park that we ever went to together. Right after we got married in Las Vegas, we did a road trip, and we stopped there first.
Beautiful place.
And her parents were planning on going into Zion, but because of it being the weekend when we were there, that's just how it timed out. It was also Easter weekend. They decided we don't really want a chance going and it being just overly crowded, so they decided not to go to Zion, which is perfectly fine. We enjoyed Coral Pink Sand Dunes. We went into Kanab and walked around one day and enjoyed that.
We are getting a side-by-side there next time and doing
yeah.
the dunes. We did start watching some Westerns because of Kanab, because they made a lot of movies there, and we had wanted to see some of the John Wayne ones because of Monument Valley and things like that. So now we're starting to watch, and it's funny because when we watch them, we're like screaming at the television because we know exactly where they are. You know.
Yeah. Well, now you can start recognizing the landscapes.
Yes.
So the first one that we pulled up and watched while we were at Coral Pink Sand Dunes was the Outlaw Josie Wells.
Yeah.
Her dad loves Westerns. He knows all about them, knows all the actors and everything. So he was telling us about that. In the Little Hollywood Museum, they had the set pieces for Josie Wales. So we decided to go back
really
that
cool.
evening and pull it up, and we watched it. I think it was on Amazon. And so part of that movie was filmed at Coral Pink Sand Dunes. So the other night, Abby pulled up another one. It was a John Wayne Western. And what was it called?
The Searchers.
The Searchers. Okay. First time I have ever seen that movie. And she was reading that it's, I guess, arguably one of the most famous Westerns. It was filmed in Monument Valley. And whenever you spend time out in Monument Valley, you get to know it. As soon as you see it on TV, you know exactly where that was filmed.
Yeah.
Because there's no other place that looks like Monument Valley.
That
was
is a
pretty cool.
beautiful, beautiful movie.
And she was looking up filming locations for The Searchers, and it was not only Monument Valley, it was Mexican Hat.
Yep.
It was Goosenecks State Park, I believe.
Yeah, because in the scenes where they're by the
Red
water,
Mesa.
we were like, we know that that's not Monument Valley.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have that there. So,
I told Abby, I said, I'm pretty sure that's probably the San Juan River.
and so I'm like, I'm looking it up, and I'm like, I'm screaming at him, going, "You're right! It's exactly right. It's Mexican Hat. I know exactly where that is."
Yeah, it was saying Mexican Hat is one of the film locations.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe some of the river shots in that
Yeah.
movie was down in the Mexican Hat area along the San Juan River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that's just what makes traveling so great. Is you recognize places that you've been, and it makes you appreciate them even more. Not that we don't already appreciate them, but
We left Coral Pink Sand Dunes and drove up Highway 89 north a little ways. We were headed to Kodachrome Basin State Park, which is another favorite of ours. It was a repeat, but this was the section of the trip that we had Abby's parents with us. So we wanted to take them to some of the places that we loved, because when we had them with us last year in the Capitol Reef area, and they went for a drive down Route 12, and they absolutely fell in love at that point. So this time we got to come from the west end. So we went up 89, turned on Highway Route 12, Utah Route 12, which is the Red Canyon area of the Dixie National Forest. We stopped there. We had an awesome picnic at the visitor center there at the Red Canyon. And then we stopped right down the road where the arches, where you get to drive through the Red Canyon arches. They got to see that. They got to drive their motorhome through it. And then we went, so you go through Bryce Canyon National Park, And then once you get to Cannonville, you turn off and you go down to Kodachrome Basin. So we left Kodachrome, another beautiful state park. We love it there. We'll be back one day. And went down to Escalante because that's one of our favorite places to go and visit.
I could talk for 3.5 hours about Escalante. I love it.
It's such a great place.
I love it.
It's different than any other place you go to, but you have these amazing views of the Grand Staircase all the way around you, kind of encircles you there.
I don't understand why that's not more of a known place.
I don't know either, but
I mean, the staircase is incredible.
I hope it stays that way.
I know.
The town of Escalante has done a good job of trying to keep it non-corporate.
That's true.
You're not seeing hotels, you're not seeing chain
Walmarts.
restaurants.
No, there's nothing like that, no.
It's very minimum. So that's another place that you go that you really need to kind of plan ahead, bring plenty of food and stuff. There is a little grocery store there, but I'm telling you, it's very basic.
They have everything you need, but not...
It's not like going to Walmart,
No.
you know. You can go there and get something to eat, but they're not going to have everything you're looking for. Go to the Escalante Outfitters and have you a pizza one day.
Great
It's a great place to go, but other than that, there's really not a lot there.
No.
There's other restaurants there, but they were not open when we were there, and that's the second year in a row that they were not open. Maybe they open in May, I don't know.
And then we should have made a video, but we didn't because we were in the moment. But Kiva Coffee House.
Yeah.
So it's on Route 12. You have to get it in. I think it is a magical place. They're closed Mondays and Tuesdays. So please look at your schedule and look at their hours. It's just breakfast, lunch. It's just a special place.
It's a beautiful place.
It is.
Great place for coffee. They have some food there you can get, breakfast type items.
We honestly, we sat there and just talked for a very long time. It was incredibly enjoyable.
You're overlooking the, I believe it's the Escalante Canyons. So it's where the river goes through. So you're looking at the red canyons and you see the green foliage from the trees. And it's just beautiful.
Yes.
It's just south of the Calf Creek Recreation Area.
Yeah.
The hike that we did last year to Lower Calf Creek Falls, it's
Awesome.
just south of that.
Yeah.
Great place to go.
Yes.
We spent, I think, either 4 or 5 nights in Escalante. I can't remember
5.
now. 5 nights. We enjoyed the hell out of that. It was such a great place. And that was where we parted ways with Abby's parents. They decided there was a place in Texas that they were planning on going to. So they left and they went through Colorado, and then we left and we
Salida, because they love Salida.
Oh, yeah, they went to
they had
Salida.
to go to
Salida's
Salida.
another great place.
It is a great place.
But we wanted to go, ultimately what we wanted to do was go back to Goosenecks State Park. So that was the direction that we took. So we left Escalante, we boondocked along Utah Route 95 going south in the Red Rock Canyon part of BLM area. Had a great time there. That turned out to be such a great site. It was a little crowded in there. There was quite a few people camping, so it's a popular spot.
Yep.
But we ended up getting a really great site there.
Yes,
it
we
was
did.
perfect, and so we stopped there and we camped. It was a nice surprise because we walked over to the rock cliffs, and what did we find?
Petroglyphs,
Oh,
right
yeah.
there. I got to take my time. I got to look through them. The footprint. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
It
So
was the two foots on the rock.
I mean,
Yeah.
petroglyphs are probably one of my very favorite things to find, and I mean that area has a ton of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're used to seeing them,
Yeah.
from far away or whatever, not right in front of your face.
Yeah.
So it's great, and I'm glad that they're still there. There was a lot of graffiti, but people at least haven't taken those. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great spot. And
Yeah.
we want to go back through there and
Yeah.
camp some more of that area.
If you are into off-roading, though, you have got to go check out that area. I mean, it just looks
So all the way down Route
amazing.
95 to Blanding, you have a long stretch. It takes like a couple hours to get through there. It's all BLM out there. Besides the Glen Canyon Rec area that you pass through, it's all BLM. And we're seeing spots as we're just driving, not only is there places off on the side of the road, you see dirt roads going down, and you can see a camper or two out there camping. There's just places to camp all out there in BLM, free camping. And so we want to get in a couple more places like that along that drive on a future trip.
Yes.
Definitely. Went down through Bluff, which is beautiful, down to Goosenecks State Park, where we stayed 3 nights.
It's my favorite of all time camp.
Abby loves it at Goosenecks, and it
I love it.
is beautiful. Goosenecks is relatively cheap to stay at. It is $10 a night to stay there, and I think it's $5 per vehicle if you're just there for the day. But bear in mind, there's a couple things to keep in mind there. There are no hookups, and there's not even water there to get. So you can't show up there and think you're going to fill up a water jug.
And there's no dump station.
There's no dump station.
Nope.
So it's completely self-contained. They do have trash cans you can use. But you go out there, there's no shade other than the shade off next to your camper. And you just go there to enjoy the view.
And again, the night sky, it's so great.
Some of the best night sky.
Honestly, that is probably one of the most isolated feeling places that we've been, in the best way, I mean.
Yeah.
And everyone is there for the exact same reason for the most part.
For the most part. There's some people that don't know how to camp properly, but we're gonna talk about it in another video, not this video.
Agreed. But it's my favorite of all time. The whole vibe of it, the whole situation is just so incredible. You're on the side of the rim of a canyon.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome.
You can't go anywhere. I mean, there's a lot of great places to go camp, but I mean that is all its own. Like, you can't go to another place that looks just like that.
No.
Not only are you there for the view at Goosenecks, there's a lot of great places around there to enjoy too. Just next to it on the east side is Valley of the Gods, which is another beautiful drive and lots of boondocking.
Yep.
Free camping anywhere you want to go out there. If $10 is too much for you, then pick you a spot out in the BLM land and camp for free. That's what a lot of the van campers are doing out there. And so we want to go there and camp eventually on another trip. We want to go out there to the Valley of the Gods and set up somewhere and camp. So to the north of that, you can drive the Moki Dugway. We have a video on that on the channel.
But not with your camper.
Yeah, no campers, no trailers on that. It's a switchback
For a
gravel
good reason.
road. You can take your car, your truck up, and you can drive to the top of that, and you can go to Natural Bridges National Monument, or you can go to the west and go down to Muley Point. You're in the Glen Canyon Rec area overlooking Gooseneck State Park. It's so beautiful there.
Yes.
So a lot of really great places to see there also.
Mexican Hat right next door.
Mexican Hat is next door, and then 30 minutes to the west is Monument Valley. So you can go there too. So
also,
we always talk about this, is how close everything is connected. Once you actually start going to some of these places, you look back and you say, wow, this was only 30 minutes down the road and
how
we
did
were
I
already
miss
there.
it? Yeah. Sand Island.
Sand Island.
That was an unexpected little excursion that we had there.
We
loved it.
So we've been to Sand Island. That's another campground and rec area, and it's also on the river, so you can go rafting there. And we've got a video going there from the last trip because they have a petroglyph wall. But we went there because of something new that they just opened.
Yes. So when we were going into the gate at Goosenecks, the nice guy that worked at the desk there, we just kind of started talking, and he ended up mentioning, have you guys seen the new thing that they have set up?
The new trail.
The new trail that they have set up at Sand Island. No, we haven't.
We didn't know anything about it.
We didn't know. And he said, well, he was petroglyphs as far as I can see. And so, of course, I'm like over here going, babe, petroglyphs, can we go see?
Yeah.
Yes, so we did. You go towards the boat ramp. It's a popular place to get into the water right there. So there's a lot of cars, but don't let that throw you off. That's just for that
All
area.
the cars you see are people's cars that they're just parked because they're out on the river rafting.
Right, which we're going to be doing. We got to do that sometime. But anyway, so you park at the end. There's a trail marker there. Nothing's really marked all that well. You can tell that they're still trying to put the signage in, and there's big plaque areas.
Yeah, they're still working on it,
that are empty. But
yeah.
my head exploded.
So let me just back up here. If you go towards the boat ramp, you take a left, and you'll see the offices there. Go past that, all the way to the end. That's the parking for the trail.
Yeah.
You're actually going to pass a couple of campsites along the way too. They're just right on the side of the road. Go to the end, park. It's a brand new trail that they opened up. It was a collaborative effort between the different tribal nations, I believe.
That's right.
They all got together to help do this, and they made a new trail that is ADA compliant. So it's accessible. If you have a wheelchair or scooter or anything, Everybody can go down this path, and you just look up at the wall, and you start seeing petroglyphs everywhere, all the way down
Everywhere.
this wall. They're
Everywhere. Bring
And-
your binoculars if you have some. It's the perfect way to enjoy it, is to just be able to sit back
Yeah.
and pull your binoculars out and stare. And the more you look, the more you see.
It was beautiful.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, the spiral.
When we first started walking and seeing it, you see these fences that they put up because it's just they don't want people in there on the wall, right? And then you look up and you're like, all right, well, where's the petroglyphs? And the more you look, then you finally start seeing them. Then you realize, okay, you really got to look good, and then you start seeing them everywhere. Some of them are hard to see because they're so old. They're a lot darker than the newer ones, and the newer one being hundreds, maybe 1,000 years old. They say that some of them go back to at least 8,000 years. That's how old they are. But there's certain sections along the trail, along the wall, that they just filled the wall up with petroglyphs.
I couldn't believe it. Like I said, my head was blowing off. I was so happy to be standing there.
Amazing.
I mean, there were thousands and thousands of them, and you could really tell the difference between the age maybe and just the style. I've never seen so many in my life. And I mean, I was excited about the petroglyph wall that they had on, and it's nothing compared to this. So I was shocked by it. Definitely add this one to your list.
We don't know a lot about the history of the area, but it's apparent that a lot of Native Americans lived in that area. And it makes sense because it's a valley, it's a riverbed valley.
Yes.
So lots of foliage, trees, greens, there, water, and you have these cliff faces that they put petroglyphs on, and I was trying to imagine what it looked like back then. They probably had little villages and stuff set up there, along the river.
They
really
even
cool.
have some that they thought were probably done by the Spanish.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was crying, basically. It was so great.
She loved it, and we actually spent a lot more time there than what we thought we were going to. So we ended up just...
It changed our whole day.
We were going to do that. We were going to drive the Moki Dugway and all this stuff. We ended up doing the petroglyph trail, and then the previous day, we didn't get to stop at Twin Rocks Cafe so she could get her blue corn pancakes.
He took me. I was so ready.
They were
I have been
closed that
waiting.
day for maintenance.
Closed. The one day.
Yeah, so we went back to Bluff after the trail to have lunch there, and luckily they were open. So you got to have your blue corn pancakes.
They were epic.
They are always really good. I had a Navajo taco just because while you're there, you got to eat them. So we finally got to have our lunch at Twin Rocks, which is in Bluff. It's a very, very small, tiny town, but it is gorgeous where it is located.
And we did try the coffee shop across the street since it wasn't open. That was the first time we'd been there, and there was a little trading post.
Cow Canyon Trading Company.
Yeah.
Or Trading Post, or something like that.
Yep. That, if I could live in that as my house, yes, I would.
That was a nice,
oh my goodness.
Place.
So, but I did get a prize in there. Can I show them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to show you.
We did bring a couple things out we wanted to share with you that we got on this trip. We just haven't quite made it that far yet.
You haven't even seen this yet.
I haven't. I don't even know what she got. She said she bought a piece of art that was in the Cow Country. Cow Canyon, I mean.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
Check that out.
That is very cool.
Can you see it?
Yep, I think they can.
So obviously native made. That was a really cool little trading post, and they had lots of jewelry, lots of art.
Oh, it's a bird on the top.
It's a bird on the top.
These are
That's why I had to get it.
These are, you can see the hand chisel marks on the wood there.
So she said that she thought that this one represented rain, like a more of a rain dance type of thing. So I had to have it. I thought it was awesome, and
That's
this is
great.
going to go in our house.
Yeah, I can't wait. I
know.
love it.
It has a good vibe to it.
Abby usually picks out something like this on every trip that we take. Not every trip. Sometimes she can't find what she's looking for, but this time she did. She found a piece of art.
So I'm very excited about that.
I'm glad you found something that you liked and you got to pick it out.
Me too. Are you going to show your prize?
I am. Let me get a swig of water, and I'm going to show you what I picked up whenever we were in Santa Fe. All right. really excited about this. So while we were in Santa Fe, we went down to the O'Farrell Hat Company and we picked up the hat that I ordered 2 years ago.
Yes.
2 years ago, we were in Santa Fe and had a great time. We went to this company here. This is right off the plaza, O'Farrell Hat Company. Looked around. They make custom hats. They actually sit you down in a chair, like a barber's chair, and they have this cool little contraption, this tool, that they put on your head, and they get a shape of your head, and then you get to actually pick out what kind of hat that you want to have made, and they'll make a hat. There's a long wait time. At the time, they said 12 months. When we went in there to get the hat, it said 18 months, and it was almost 2 years.
Yes.
They actually called me right before we went on this trip to tell me that the hat was just about ready and they were getting ready to ship it. And I said, no, hold up. We're actually going to be going out there. So that was another reason why we decided to go back to Santa Fe after Goosenecks so we could pick up my new hats.
Oh, darn.
So let's check this out.
Do you hear the angels singing? Yes.
There it is. Look at that.
Ooh-wee.
All right. This is my first custom hat I've ever had made, and custom made. Premium beaver custom made for Abom 79.
Ooh-wee.
There it is.
It looks so good on you.
Abby seems to really like it.
My clothes have all dissolved off.
Good thing you're holding the camera this way.
Exactly.
No, I was really excited to have a custom hat. When we went there the first time, I had no intentions on having a hat made, but I really, the older I get, now I'm in my mid-40s, you know, I'm really starting to appreciate other styles of hats, you know, like cowboy hats, Western style hats.
But also craftsmen that make the hats.
Of course.
Yes.
Custom made. So I really appreciate the craftsmanship that went into making a hat. And so once we went in there and we visited and we were looking around, realized what they do, you know, talked to the owner and he, you know, told us all about it. I got kind of excited and I told Abby, I said, I think I want to have a hat made, you know, it's something I never thought I would do. And that's exactly what we did. We sat down, they fitted me, and here we are. I have my very first custom hat.
It's beautiful.
And I
you
love
did
it.
well.
Yep. And it's supposed to be really, really durable. It comes with they've got a brush and a sponge in here, and they were telling me how to take care of it. It's okay if it gets rained on, you know, just let it dry. But very first custom hat, and I'm really excited about it.
You should be.
I think it fits good. I think it feels good. And I look forward to having this the rest of my life and enjoying it. So here it is, guys, my very first custom made hat.
All right, I'm coming all the way around, so
Okay.
you just freeze.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. You're making that look good, babe.
And the owner kind of helped me pick out the style I want, because they have all kind of styles that they can make for you. You know, there's different styles of hats. I wasn't sure what I wanted, and he made recommendations because he's a hat guy. You know, he's a tradesman. He knows the different styles and what looks good on people. So he recommended this one. You know, the sides are kind of folded up a little bit, and the overall size and shape of it. He made those recommendations, and we picked one out, and I'm happy with my selection. I like the color. You know, I think it turned out good.
It looks great.
All right, so I know this has been probably a patio chat's what this is looking like,
Yep.
but we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and we're going to pack up tomorrow morning. We're leaving, and we're heading home. We're going to be back in Florida, and it's time to get back into the work grind. We have a lot of really great things coming, a lot of things to get started on. We have a lot of things to do.
Yes, we do.
And we have really, really enjoyed this trip. These big hauls are fantastic. It's a great way for us to disconnect, have fun, travel, see new places, and now it's time to get back to work, which is what we're going to be doing.
That's right.
But we do have a couple more trips planned this year, and we're looking forward to getting even more trips planned, especially next year's big haul. We're going to
Yes.
start working on that too.
Yes.
So we hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do you have any last words?
No.
No?
Let me think about it. Oh, you should see how much laundry I have.
We won't get into the laundry. I'm going to be helping you with that. There's a lot of it to do.
Yes, there is.
But we hope you enjoyed the video and all of the videos that we have made together here for this year's big haul and all the traveling we've done. And we hope to catch you on the next adventures. So we'll see you down the road.